Hey there everybody, welcome back to another episode of What is the Video series, where we casually talk about some video games. I take a video game, I tell you guys what I think about it, and tell you if you should play it or not without giving it an actual review score, because those are freaking cringe. Today we're going to be talking about Greedfall. So what is Greedfall? Greedfall is an action RPG developed by AA Studio Spiders and published by Focus Home Interactive. It released in September of 2019, and a lot of people didn't know about it, forgot about it, or didn't pay any attention because Borderlands 3 and Gears 5 also released like the same 3-day span. I think Gears 5 also released on the same day as Greedfall, so just very, very bad luck for a smaller developer putting out a new IP. Just very, very bad luck. I remember playing this game when it did release. I played through the intro, and then I never went back to it because I was really heavily addicted to GTA 5 RP at the time. So that's a completely different conversation. We won't get into that now. The story for Greedfall is you play as Desarde, a noble, a royal member of the merchant congregation. You are appointed the title of legate, essentially a diplomat for this nation. You were joining your cousin Constantine on a trip to an island called Tirfirdi. Constantine's being appointed the governor of New Serene, the capital of the merchant congregation on this new island. Because the reason why we're going to this new island and why everyone's going to this new island is because there's this terrible plague called the Malachor, and inflicting a mass population of the nation of, not nation, but the land of Gakane, which is where everyone's coming from. Everyone's starting to colonize Tirfirdi, some to get away from this Malachor, some to try to figure out why the Malachor is happening, and most to find a cure for the Malachor so they can save their friends and family back home. Throughout the whole campaign, Desarde is tasked with, being the voice for his cousin, going out to the different factions. There's two other nations that joined the merchant congregation on Tirfirdi, that being Teleme, and the other being the Bridge Alliance. Teleme is a big religious nation. They believe in their savior San Mateus and their leader San Mateus, and he's the shit, and that their way is the only way, and they do what they can to convert anyone to their beliefs. And then the Bridge Alliance are all about science and doing experiments and finding the answers at all costs is really kind of what their idea is. So all three nations are heading over to Tirfirdi, but on Tirfirdi there's the land is filled with natives, people who have lived there their whole lives, and they have some things to say about those who are what they view as invading their lands, taking their resources, killing their people. So Desarde has to navigate all of this political stuff and trying to keep the peace for his people, while trying to help find the cure for his people, for the other people, for everyone. And it's a pretty interesting game overall, to be quite honest. If you like games that have political intrigue, this game's definitely right up your alley. It gave me heavy vibes of The Witcher almost, with some of the political intrigue. A lot of people, when they think of The Witcher, think, oh, fighting big monsters and all that stuff. But really and truly, like, with The Witcher, you're dealing with a lot of politics between different nations and so on and so forth. So I know Geralt himself didn't really like to get involved with politics, but that being said, throughout all the games, he got himself involved with a lot of politics. So I was a fan of the Witcher series. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and I got heavy Witcher vibes with like how they set up the political environment and stuff with this game. It was really cool. It was fun navigating through all that stuff. When I was playing, I kept in the back of my mind that Desarde was a diplomat first and foremost, so I tried to take the peaceful approach to all conversations instead of hopping right into beating the crap out of people. I tried to, gather dirt on them, use the dirt against them, talk my way out of situations, so on and so forth, trying to keep the peace between everyone. Pretty much is the goal between it all, and I thought it was really fun, and I enjoyed it. The conversations gave me heavy Bioware vibes, actually, where you had different choices in your conversations. You could, be the nice guy, you could be the asshole, you could be indifferent, and all of these choices actually ultimately led to either pros or cons for you as the game went on. If you kept pissing off a certain faction and you went to that faction to get help later on, good luck, you aren't getting that help. So that was another, I guess, plus of being nice to everyone, is that when I needed help from them, they gave it to me. But you can choose the path of least resistance. You can choose the path of most resistance. It's your choice, and I love that. I love how when a game gives a player choices, those choices actually can either pay off or have consequences down the line. Too many games give the illusion of choice, and then it all comes back around and it didn't matter at all in the end anyways. This game, your choices actually matter, and I really did enjoy that. That being said, with this game having a lot of political intrigue, a lot of political BS, some may say, there was a lot of talking in this game, a lot of conversations. I would say maybe 60 to 75% of the game was conversations, and which is fine. I do love me some lore. I do love me learning about a game, especially a new IP, and learning all about the new world that people were building, because these devs spent a lot of time writing all that stuff out. I love it. However, when in these conversations and looking at the faces of the people having conversations, I couldn't help but be taken out of it, because only the lower halves of the faces of people were moving during these conversations. Eyebrows weren't moving, eyes were stiff. It was it was concerning. It was shades of it was shades of Mass Effect Andromeda, to say the least. But I feel like this is honestly small studio problems, because when it came to the animations for actual cutscenes, you can tell that they put their time into making the proper cutscenes fully animated. They looked damn good, like really, really good. So it's what it is. I hope they address it when they go forward with Greedfall 2. When it comes to gameplay, there is a lot to unpack with the gameplay. We'll start with questing. Like I said, a lot of the game is talking with people. When it comes to questing, there is a lack of fetch quests, which is awesome. You don't have to go out, kill 5 boars, get their livers, bring them back. Not much of that. Maybe a few here and there, but nothing too crazy. However, in replacing with the fetch quest, we have the start at this guy and talk with this guy, go to this place, talk with this person, go to this place, talk to this person, come back, and then tell me what happened. Which was a slog and a trouble at times. There was seriously 2 quests back to back. Here's the timeline. This took about 30 to 45 minutes to do all this. Start at logging camp, go to capital, talk with our mentor, go from mentor to old governor of the city, go from old governor to mentor, go from mentor back to logging camp. Quest complete. And then you literally travel 15 feet down the road, mining camp. Go from mining camp back to capital, talk to mentor, talk to old governor, talk to old governor, go back to mentor, go from mentor back to mining camp. Quest complete. Like literally the exact same quest design, back to back. It was rough. It was a slog at times, but other than those 2 quests there, I honestly feel like a lot of the side quests could be put in a main quest setting. Like they were that good in terms of actual storytelling and conversations to be had and all that sorts. Like they felt like they belonged, and it was nice to see. And I'm not saying like there was no quest that didn't have combat. Along the way, when you're traveling between places, you come across monsters, you come across enemies, and then there was combat and so on and so forth. That was fine. But it is a lot of conversation, a lot of just running from point A to point B, which was okay, because the zones, there was 15 plus zones in this game. It's a semi-open world game. It's instanced a lot, kind of like the Dragon Age games, I would say. It's instanced, or, a lot of games are like, a lot of games aren't massive, just open worlds. They're kind of instanced areas. There's 15 plus of these zones. They all look different. They are all their own special zone, and That's a big feat that these guys have pulled off greatly. It was awesome. It was nice to see, and it made the whole running back and forth through these quests a little bit more palatable, because these zones were interesting to explore, they were interesting to look at, and I quite enjoyed them. When it comes to building out your character for Desarde, first and foremost, you can customize Desarde to look however you want, to be whatever you want, which is awesome. They had a decent bit of customization options to make Desarde at the beginning of the game, and you don't see that a lot with Western type RPGs. You usually have your character that you are, I shouldn't say Western RPGs. Western RPGs are the ones where you can create your character a bunch. But in an RPG where you have a character that is already written out for you, you don't get to customize them too much. So it was nice to see that. And then from there, you have like your talent tree that determines, there's 3 talent trees within the talent tree, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'm not talking about, you have your combat talent tree, you have your like talent tree that deals with what kind of gear you can wear, and then you have your talent tree that deals with how you interact with the world. So we'll start with the combat one. You can choose to go full melee, go full meat mode, beat the crap out of everything that comes in front of you. You can go down the magic tree, which, you know, you deal with magic. You can lock people in place with stasis. You can cast different magic balls at them, and I didn't really mess with the magic tree too much, but you can do all that stuff there. And the nice part about magic is that it completely ignored armor, and it just did direct health damage. That was the kind of the powerful thing about magic. And then you have the technician tree, which is what I went down, and this tree was sick. This tree was sick. You dealt with one-handed weapons, so you had like swords or daggers, whatever you dealt with. You had a gun, which, I mean, that's just kind of awesome. And then you could set traps, and these traps have different things. One like just does a lot of damage to armor. One is like a poison trap, which will do damage over time. One's a stasis trap, which if an enemy runs over it, it locks them in place for a while. There's one that does magic damage. It's a magic trap, which just does straight health damage. And that's your basis. You have those 4 things. You have the elemental, which did armor. You have poison, which does damage over time. You have stasis, which stops people in place. And then you have magic, which does direct health damage. Those are like your 4 base things in the technician tree. And you can either make traps, you can make bombs you can throw, or you can make salves that you can put on your weapons that do all of those things as well. The technician tree really kind of opens up the gameplay options for your character, and it gave me the most options going into combat, which was great because combat itself was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie, the combat itself, once you get the hang of it, which didn't take long to get the hang of it, was kind of boring. I was playing on extreme, which is the hardest difficulty, and I didn't run into many challenges at all throughout the game. I would run into areas where stuff was too high level for me, and I would get my ass rocked, and all I had to do was just leave and come back a little bit later on. That was pretty much it. But overall, like the combat itself, if you're fighting stuff your level, it wasn't that hard. It had a tactical pause menu as well, which was pretty cool. It likened back to like Dragon Age Origins. The tactical pause menu that you can do to set up and issue commands for yourself. Apply the salves to your weapons if you need to. Just do any sort of action you didn't have keybound. You can use the tactical pause menu to do any of those actions, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the combat itself just was kind of boring. So being able to switch things up with the technician tree really helped make the combat palatable. The second tree you have, like I said, has to deal with the type of stuff you can wear and use. You have your endurance, which determines what kind of armor you can use. Strength, which lets you hold bigger strength weapons. Agility lets you hold bigger agility weapons. Accuracy lets you hold bigger guns. So on and so forth. And then the final tree is, it has charisma, which lets you talk to people better. Intuition, which lets you kind of read people better. Lock picking, you have your craftsmanship, which is awesome. And then your science stuff. Science you use to make the potions to set for your traps, to throw at people, or to put on your weapons. And you wanted a higher skill for that. And then obviously crafting, which was a really cool aspect of this game, lets you add different attachments to your weapons and gear to one, increase the quality of your gear and take it from a green to say a purple, and two, kind of customize the type of damage your weapon does. You can choose if you want your weapon to do more armor damage or more flat health damage. If you wanted to generate Fury more, which Fury was, you wanted to build that up to do a special move from your weapon that hit pretty hard, you can kind of customize how your weapon behaves and how it benefits you in the long run. So that was pretty cool, and I really enjoyed the crafting system in that sort. And when you put attachments on your weapons and your armor, it changes the look of your armor and stuff too, which, usually you just patch stuff on and like the armor stays the same, but you actually change the look of your armor. And I thought that was a really cool addition to the game, and I really hope they build on this system specifically for Greedfall 2. In combat, you get 2 different companions with you, just like in the say Mass Effect or Dragon Age games. You get 2 companions with you that have their own styles as well, that are based on your combat tree. They all are kind of hybrids though, which was cool to see that they didn't make them just flat. This is your tank, and then this is your magic dealer, and this is your healer. Like they mixed them up, and like it was cool to see it. It made party compositions definitely something fun to play with along the way. That being said, though, I think I covered everything I want to talk to about this game. I'm trying to keep these. I was trying to keep it under 10 minutes, but here we are at 16 minutes. So I'm gonna try to keep these under 20 minutes from now on. Overall, though, Greedfall is a good action role-playing game, guys. I really did enjoy my time overall with it. It has some rough spots, but it also has a lot of great ideas. I think it was one of those things where they took all those great ideas, they threw them into the game, and they weren't able to fully flesh out any of it, and some stuff fell to the wayside. So I'm hoping when the upcoming sequel to Greedfall, titled Greedfall 2, when it comes out in the future, they're able to build off of the foundation they have, fix a lot of the issues like with the faces during conversations and so on and so forth, and just expand everything to make a solid title with Greedfall 2. So if you're a fan of action role-playing games, or games that have political intrigue, or just the colonial era setting, I would definitely say Greedfall is a game worth checking out. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video today. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment below what you thought overall of the freestyle, more so than a scripted commentary type thing for a review. And let me know what games you want me to cover in the future. I'm down for anything. It's not just new games. We can do it all. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. All the links are in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.